Well, hey, what's up, everybody? Matthew here. Thanks for checking into the channel. Today, we're going to do something of a throwback to the good old days on this channel. We're going to look at some Bibles. I used to be a Bible review channel. That's how I got started on YouTube. A lot of you know that if you've been with me for the journey over many, many years now of doing YouTube videos. All started with Bible reviews. And I mostly left that off in favor of teaching videos, Reformed theology, sometimes commenting on contemporary events. But I do relatively frequently get requests for me to go back and do some of my old crash test review videos, especially on like my Cambridge wide margin and my Cambridge pit minion, which unfortunately is not going to be showed today, though the Eagle will come back into play here in just a moment. So what I'd like to do is show you 5 Bibles that honestly I can't live without anymore. I should say at the first here, to have any Bible, to have one Bible in your life is the most precious treasure that you will ever physically own. And I really mean that. To have a Bible to me is more precious than a home. It's more precious than a car. It's more precious than a wedding ring. To have a physical Bible in my hand is the most valuable physical object that I own because it is the Word of God. And so I realize that there's a sense in which I'm very spoiled and quite undeserving of all that I have. To have multiple Bibles, multiple translations, to be able to have it in the Greek and the Hebrew and the English, which is my heart language, these are all incomparable treasures. And so when I say that I can't live without these Bibles, you know what I mean. I'm making a hyperbole here. But these are 5 Bibles that I'm extremely thankful for. And so what I'd like to do is share screen with you. And I am going to give you just a little bit of a tour of my working desk here at Gospel Fellowship PCA. This is my office right here. And forthwith, I'm going to show you 5 Bibles that I just can't live without, or I don't want to live without them. And by the way, if you're new to this channel, my name is Matthew. I'm one of the pastors here at Gospel Fellowship PCA. We are a Reformed Bible-believing church just north of Pittsburgh. If you're looking for a church like that, please come check us out. Also, one of the adjunct professor at RPTS, the Reformed Presbyterian Theological Seminary in Pittsburgh. I'd love to have you in my evangelism class coming up this spring, by the way. Not sure if you have time for that, but love to have you Tuesday nights this spring at the campus, RPTS in Pittsburgh. All right, well, with no further ado, let's go ahead and have a look-see at my office. So there it is. Yes, I've got plants everywhere. I'm a plant lover as well as a Bible lover. And this first Bible that we're looking at is my main preaching Bible. This is my Bible that I use all the time. This is my Crossway Heirloom Wide Margin. It is the more expensive goatskin one, and for necessary reasons, I think, because I use this Bible all the time. Now, I'm just going to pause here and show you a little bit of wear damage that this has, but this is 5 years of using this Bible all the time. When I came to Gospel Fellowship PCA, I actually switched my main preaching Bible from the Cambridge Wide Margin, which was filling up with quite a bit of notes, to using now this one right here. Here's another little break. Actually, the cover's breaking there. It's kind of coming apart. But there's still years and years of service left in this particular Bible, I believe. I carry my Pigma Micron pens with me at all times, and I commonly just loop them over the top. And of course, that's presenting some damage here. There's a little bit of damage to the goatskin, but it's no big deal. Inside this Bible, open it up. I've got my Bible reading checklist here, which is available on my YouTube channel. If you go to my About page and you just look down at some of the links I have, you can see and get your own Bible reading checklist. Now, the reason I love this Bible and I can't live without it is because I'm a wide margin devotee. Once I started writing in my Bible, it's just a hobby that I cannot break. It's my life occupation. I love studying Scripture. I love the Bible. I love taking notes. I study the Scriptures all the time. Not to brag, I shouldn't come across like that, but it is what I do, not only professionally as a pastor, but I'm just a believer who loves reading the Scriptures. And so here's my morning devotional tab right here. I'm just reading through the book of Ezekiel in the mornings, and then I just am about to finish up Joshua at night. I usually read through 2 places of the Scriptures at any one given time, and I love my wide margin because I take notes in it all the time. I have a lot of memory verses highlighted. I am the kind of person that highlights my Bible quite a bit, and here's something interesting that I do. Believe it or not, this is my preaching text this Sunday right here. And you can see I've just got notes everywhere in this particular Bible. One thing I do that is probably a little crazy, maybe you don't do this, I'm sure you don't, is in addition to highlighting memory verses and things like that, which you can see right here, I also bold the verse numbers, and that's because my aging eyes have a hard time sometimes seeing the verse numbers. Now, I've tried different things before, like this right here. I've highlighted the verse number in yellow. Hopefully you can see that. Let me make sure you can. Nope, you can't. My face is over top of that. Let's see if I can move my face a little bit. Yeah. Here's something I've tried to do, highlight in yellow a little bit, verse numbers 2. But for the most part, I just go ahead and I bold up the verse numbers on passages that I'm preaching. And whenever I preach that particular text, I just go ahead and bold up that verse number so that I can see it when I'm actually in the act of preaching. I'm a lover of these tabs, by the way. I think they're awesome. I use them everywhere all the time. I've got tabs in all my Bibles. The one thing I'm concerned about with this Bible, I do worry about this section right here where the leather liner is tabbed onto the block. This is where it's probably going to fail, and you can see that I've had to use some tape there from time to time, which is something that I do regularly. I also make usually a little pocket right here by taping the bottom of the cardstock papers together. And I like this because I can put not only my bulletin for the week, you can see I've got my church bulletin right there, but I can also put my sermon in there so I never have to panic on Sunday mornings that I'm going to lose my sermon. So I do that in pretty much most of the Bibles that I use regularly. There's my sermon from last week. There's my bulletin from last week. And so I just tuck it in the back of my Bible that way. And maybe it damages the cardstock a little bit, but who cares? Bibles are not indestructible. Now, I do this in a lot of my main usage Bibles too. I usually have a travel log where I write down all the places that I've gone, and I take my Bibles with me. At least one of my Bibles goes with me on every trip. And so you can see that in this Bible right here, I started using this Bible quite a bit around the end of 2019 and the beginning of 2020. So that's when most of my travel with this particular Bible goes. So if I teach at the seminary or I go to Ohio or something like that, I'll take my Bible with me, and I'll usually make some annotations as to exactly where I've been. I find that makes it a nice little heirloom, and you can also kind of look back on your personal history when you're thinking through some of the things that you've done and where you've taken your Bible. Now, this is a page that I actually tabbed into this Bible right here. I had some really nice paper, and I basically just kind of folded it over and glued it right there into the midst of this Bible, right in the middle of a sewn section of the Scriptures. And this is a catalog of some of my miscellanies, which I think I'll show a glimpse of my miscellanies journal notebook a little bit later. But this is a cross-reference sheet, so I can take it over to my journal, my miscellaneous journal, and record some of the thoughts on theology or church history or philosophy or anything else I want. I try to use all the paper as much as possible. Whenever there's a blank page in my Bible, I try to use that as much as I possibly can. Like here, you can see I have a whole section on prophecies of the Messiah. And this is where I've just taken a lot of notes, making sure that I'm just kind of using all that blank paper. The point of a wide margin Bible is that you'll write all kinds of notes in it. And it always kind of puzzles me when you get people that buy a wide margin Bible and then they don't really write anything in it. It's like, that's kind of what it's for. If you want to have Bibles that are pristine, of course, you're free to do that as well. But the point of a wide margin is that you actually use it. Now, this is the second Bible I cannot live without. This is my Rebounds ESV Study Bible. And I had a group called Leonard's do this rebinding for me in chocolate goat skin. This Bible I cannot live without because it's been my main study Bible for a number of years now. I've always thought that the ESV Study Bible is one of the best study Bibles that's ever been made. One of the best study Bibles that's on the market now or has been in the last 20 years. Now, I'll still write in a Bible like this from time to time. No reason I wouldn't do that. I highlight in study Bibles like this. But though I have many study Bibles in my office of various kinds, this one is precious to me, and the reason I can't live without it is because this is the one that we do our family devotions out of as a family. So as the Everhard family, not only is personal Bible study important to me, but family devotions are incredibly important to me as well. And it's for this reason that this one has become very dear to my heart, because every evening when we have our dinner together, I pull off a Bible off the shelf at home, and it's this one. 99 times out of 100, this is the Bible that we use. We'll pass it around so the family knows this Bible. Everybody's handprints are all over this Bible. My wife will read it. My kids will read it. We'll pass it around. Usually I'm the one that's doing the actual out loud reading as we do our family devotions together. But my kids are going to love and treasure this Bible whenever we pass it down in the future as an heirloom, because they will know it as their family Bible. My son gave it the nickname, the Grizzly Bear. One time, and this is kind of funny, my son Elijah, he's 20, he's a stud. One time I pulled down a different Bible off the shelf for family devotions, and he's like, "What is this? This is generic. Give us the Grizzly Bear." That's our Bible. And he meant this Bible right here. So it's just a Bible that's very precious to us. So I can't live without it. Not only because the notes are so excellent, but also because, honestly, it's just very dear to my heart. Now, this next one right here is another Bible. It looks kind of similar. This one was rebound by Rustic Leatherworks, which is an awesome rebinder. You know, there's a lot of rebinders that get a lot of play. They're pretty famous. They get their rebinds into hands of celebrities and famous pastors and things like that. But Rustic Leatherworks has quietly been doing amazing work for a long time and multiple years now. And they did this one for me. I just love the cover of this. It's one of the best leather covers I have. He put the Sola Scriptura on there. It's stitched all the way around the perimeter. He's got a nice green leather here he put in for me. And the reason that this Bible is precious to me is because this is my blank Bible. Now, let's just pause right here because there's nothing on this page. This is Leviticus chapter 26. So this Bible has a lot of blank spots. That's why it's called a blank Bible. But the point is that you will write notes in your Bible in the corresponding column. So if I was going to write a note on Leviticus 26 right here, I would put it right here in this particular column. Hopefully you can see that arrow. If you can't, sorry about that. This left column over here would go over here to the left and so forth. So this Bible has become very precious to me, and I can't live without it because all of my sermons that I preach, I'm putting my best study notes into this particular Bible. Now, you can get this Bible. Not this exact one. It's not going to come leather bound like this, but you can buy this in hardback from Crossway. And I will post a link to the closest Bible to these in the description of this video. Unfortunately, some of these are like really nice covers and they might be a little bit expensive. And because two of these are rebinds, they'll be impossible for you to get them just like this. But you can get this, and I recommend this to my students at the seminary, that they get a blank Bible like this one very early on, especially when they're a freshman in seminary, because they're going to be learning so many things in seminary, taking so many notes, that if you would do this habit for a lifetime, you would have a treasure trove. You'd have your own study Bible. So this is quite different from the previous study Bible that I showed you, because the previous one has some of the best notes from some of the best scholars and theologians in the world. But this one will be your own study Bible. It'll become your own treasure trove of notes. And so my most heavily annotated places here in this one are obviously going to be those places where I've preached through those books. So in the Thessalonian correspondence, I have a lot of notes. In Romans, I have a lot of notes. In Joel, I have a lot of notes. In Revelation, I have a ton of notes. I think I'm going to show you a little bit of Revelation here in just a second. There it is. So I preached a 72 sermon series in the book of Revelation, so I have just a ton of notes there. And I try to save the best content for this particular Bible, because even though there's a ton of blank space to write, yet nevertheless, every spot in the Bible is precious, and I want to make sure I'm getting the best notes, the best illustrations, the best content into this Bible that I possibly can, because this is where I'm going to go back and to consult this Bible in future times for subsequent notes when I preach in those books or study those sections again. So you can see here, just by way of comparison, the thickness of these two Bibles. They're pretty approximate. The preaching Bible is much more narrow, even though it's a wide margin, and then the two beasts are rather comparable in terms of their size. There's my nice bonsai tree that somebody gave me. Okay, well, let's get into the Eagle. This is the one that became somewhat famous or notorious online, because I started calling this Cambridge Wide Margin ESV the Eagle online on some of the Facebook groups, and wouldn't you know it, the name the Eagle kind of popularized just by virtue of my posting on this Bible a lot. And so this is a true story. I don't know if you know this. This is going to come across as a humble brag, and I'm sorry for that, but Cambridge did reach out to me and asked me if they could rename the wide margin line the Aquila line, which is eagle in Latin, named after this particular Bible. So I think that's pretty cool. And though I'm not using a Cambridge on the regular right now, maybe I should be. Hit me up, Cambridge. um, I still feel like I have a place in Cambridge Bible lore in the sense that this particular Bible, the Eagle, actually changed the name of the line of the branding, which is altogether very cool. There's a little, that's pretty cool. I've got my little seal in there. Now, the Cambridge wide margin was the first time that I had a wide margin Bible in my life, and so a lot of these notes were kind of experimental to me. I was figuring out how to use a Cambridge wide margin, and by the way, if you don't know this Bible has the best paper. I mean, I'm telling you, it is the best Bible paper that is in print today. Better than any of the other Bibles that I've showed you so far. The paper is better than the Crossway ESV heirloom wide margin, significantly better than that. I don't like how my current preaching Bible, the paper kind of crinkles. This paper it's the best. It's the best Bible paper made today, in my opinion, okay? Take my opinion for what it is. So this Bible got to a place where it was so stocked, filled with notes, that when I moved from Faith Church in Brooksville, Florida, to Gospel Fellowship PCA, I actually wanted to start over with a new wide margin, which is why I switched from this Bible to my Crossway. And then the other problem, oh, there's my journal right there, my miscellaneous journal. You know what? Yeah, I think I missed that. I was going to show you something. Let's see if I can pause it here again. I was going to show you how my miscellaneous numbers work, but I write a number in the wide margin column, and then that number corresponds to a miscellaneous note, which will be placed somewhere in my miscellaneous notebook. I'm trying to see an example here, but I guess I missed the opportunity. Anyway, this Bible too is kind of falling apart, though it's still amazingly intact after all these years. Here's another pocket that I put in there. There it is, the Eagle right there. I called it the Eagle, and it changed the game. This Bible's really cool because that has a ton of lined blank paper in the back, and so you can make all kinds of notes. Here I had some prayers, and here's my original Bible symbols key that I made for myself. Really miss this. Love the fact of having lined paper in the back. I think that's just awesome. I had all kinds of like references and ideas for sermons and notes on the confessions and the creeds and ideas for weddings and funerals. I just put all kinds of stuff in there. And this is cool too. The Aquila or the Eagle has these kind of lettered spots. Can you see this where they have I, J, K? Let's pull in a little bit more of this here. E, F, G. You can make notes according to the alphabet for things related. So if I had E here, you can see I've got evangelism here, evil, maybe a note on election, who knows. But I think Cambridge did really well in putting that particular section for note-taking possibilities in there. So that's the Eagle. I love the Eagle, always will, has a place in my heart. Just pausing real quick before we go on to the next one. You know, the only reason I don't use the Eagle anymore, besides the fact that it was kind of an experimental first try for wide margining, but also just the font. My eyes are just changing a little bit. It just made it a little bit too hard to read. The Crossway one does have some bigger font, so I appreciate that. Now this next one right here, what is this one called? This is the Crossway ESV Journaling Bible Large Print. That's what it is. And this is just another landing pad for notes. Quite honestly, that's what it is. The reason I have to have another one, you're like, why? How many notes do you take? Well, just all the time. That's what I do. I'm just constantly taking notes in my Bibles. And I just have this other one because sometimes my big blank Bible isn't with me. It's at home. Usually I keep it at home. But this one I have on my work desk, and so I just have another landing place for notes. Sometimes I don't know what's going to make it into a sermon. Sometimes I got to figure out what is the best illustration, application, reference to a commentary, whatever it is. And, you know, I just like to have all different kinds of places to place my notes. I am in the habit of writing all the time. It's kind of a Jonathan Edwards thing. I'm an Edwards scholar. What do you expect? I'm taking notes all the time. And this is a great one too. This one has really cool paper. I like the paper. This paper has a little bit of a hue compared to the whiteness of other Bible paper. It's a little bit yellowy, but I think that looks pretty cool too. And so there they are, all 5 of the Bibles that I can't live without. I love each one of these Bibles, and I really, really treasure them. These are the Bibles that I'm going to be handing down to my kids. These are the Bibles that we're already talking about putting in my will. I don't know if you have a Bible like that, but I'm already figuring out which kid is going to get which one of these Bibles. Somebody's going to get each one of these, and then maybe the grandkids as well as soon as I get some some grandkids, which I'm certainly hoping for. All right. Well, I hope that you appreciated this quick review of 5 Bibles that I can't live without. The only one I wished I could have got in this video, really should have put my Cambridge Pit Minion in this video too. Doggone it. I think it's in my book bag somewhere. I don't know where it is. I think I traveled with it. Maybe it's in the back of my car. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for checking out this particular channel. Hey, if you like my work, maybe you want to check out some of my books. Here's Hold Fast the Faith, a devotional commentary on the Westminster Confession of Faith. I'd love for you to check that out. Also, my book on Jonathan Edwards and his Theology of Joy. You can get both of those on Amazon.com. All right, thanks for checking in. Love you lots. Talk to you later.